This weekend, Jeffrey Hrunka traveled to Birmingham, Alabama, Barber Motorsports Park to cover Race 4 of the NTT INDYCAR Series season. But it's also the month of May, so the Yard of Bricks is on the minds of many, including Christian Rasmussen and Nolan Siegel, who are relying on their veteran teammates to help them find the way.
A lot of it comes down to the setup side, setup aspect of it. I think the 500 is so much about having a good car, not only for race day, but for qualifying as well. So obviously Alex brings a massive amount of experience into the team. And like you said, he's done this. This is his, ninth or 10th go at it. Obviously been in victory lane, and I think he brings a massive amount of experience to the table, which is very valuable for us.
Your teammate Palou Ward has been at the front of these, Indy 500s in the last couple of years. What's the biggest thing has he taught you about these ovals, and not only those, but the Indianapolis 500 itself?
I think a lot of the Indy 500 is kind of the mindset that you go into it with, and apart from the actual driving, there's something to be learned for sure, but I think most of it is in the way that you talk about the car and the way that you can develop your setup to suit you as a driver, and kind of the mindset that you go into the month with. And that's what I've learned from Pato, and even Christian, who's now done it a few times, I think, or Kyle, right? Anyone that's experienced, there's always something to learn. So I've learned a lot from Pato on the setup front, and just listening to him debrief. He's obviously done a really good job making his car what he wants it to be at the Speedway, and that's my goal as well this year.
But what do Indy and Barber have in common? Well, they signify opportunity early in the season for smaller teams, like Juncos Hollinger Racing, who maximized their opportunity last time out at Long Beach as Stingray Robb scored a season-best 9th. His veteran teammate Conor Daly spoke about Robb's performance, the team's ceiling, and how he feels he's faring at different types of tracks.
It's honestly, I'm really just proud of Stingray. I think it was great for him, his confidence as well. And it just kind of proves the work that we've been doing. We obviously know that, our problem on our car there, but, he was able to kind of show the work that we've been doing. So it's as soon as our car, we kind of nail everything that we've been working on, we'll be fine as well. And it was good to see him have that. I think it's just good for that whole group to get a good boost. His engineer, it's his first year as a race engineer, so that's really cool for him as well to do that. So, it was good for the team.
And we know you as kind of an oval specialist, so what does it mean to start getting into those circuits, through the summer stretch?
I'm not even thinking about the ovals, honestly, because it's these are more important to me right now. I know everything about the Speedway, and I love that place. It doesn't come easy for me, but these places are the ones that for some reason feel like I need to do something else, or just kind of get back to what I've normally done in my whole career, which is I've been a road course guy. So we'll be fine on these tracks.
Barber has been a mainstay on the IndyCar schedule for years, and several of the sport's best have been able to tackle the track. But what makes it different from other road courses on the schedule? We got the opinion of Kyle Kirkwood and Will Power.
Barber's, there's a lot of elevation changes, right? And a lot of them happen at corner entry, which kind of creates a unnatural feel, and a lot of instability due to that. So you're always trying to set up the car to be very stable, but yet still turn, which is, I know, the name of the game of IndyCar, but maybe even more so here because of that. So, it's a different track. It's not easy to race on. It's not easy to drive. It's very, very constant flowing, and a lot of reasons, but it's really enjoyable to drive.
Physically, it's tough. You never get to rest. You're always in a corner, so physically tough. It's actually raced really well for a number of years now. You'd think you couldn't pass here, but there's been great racing, so I would expect that to be the same.
And IndyCar's had great and clean racing all season long. In fact, entering Barber, it's the first time in series history that there was just one caution through the first 3 races, none since the opening lap at St. Petersburg. What can that be attributed to? Marcus Ericsson explains.
Yeah, I think definitely the hybrid ability to restart the car is limit quite a few yellows. I spun in thermal where the engine died, and I would have definitely been a yellow in last year. And this time I could just restart the car and you know, keep the car running. And also, you know, yellow breeds yellow, so if you don't have any yellows, you know, it's a smaller chance it will happen. But if you have multiple yellows, it's sort of just those restarts and first couple laps always creates situations. So I definitely can see this year being a lot less yellows in general. Ovals is a different thing. There, you know, crash on an oval, you're gonna bring out a yellow, but on the road and street, I think it's gonna be less for sure.
But Saturday's practice session told a different tale. Ericsson himself got airborne while Pato O'Ward crashed into a barrier, and that was even with the weather holding up. So why did so many drivers have trouble maintaining control? Ericsson's Andretti teammate Colton Herta weighed in.
Jeffrey Hrunka Motorsports today. Throughout the practice session, numerous cars kind of seemed like lose the back end. We saw Scott McLaughlin go for a half spin. Was the kind of the slick nature of the track because of the track or the different tire compounds?
It's probably a little bit of both. It was quite windy when we first started the session too. That could have a big role on effect on these cars that rely on so much kind of over the top aerodynamics. So, you know, it could have been something I didn't see. Where did he go off?
I think turn 14.
Down the hill. It's a fast corner. So, yeah, you know, I think it was tricky at times with with how the wind was, but, you know, I think it was somewhat straightforward if you had a good balance. So maybe they were struggling a little bit at that point.
While there were no balance issues for Penske and Ganassi's stars, as Alex Palou and Scott McLaughlin locked out the front row for Sunday's event. The two spoke about how they feel the track has changed with the introduction of the hybrid engine.
This is the first time IndyCar's come to Barber with the hybrid unit. Has it shown any difficulty this weekend? And, you know, if so, in what areas?
Yeah, I mean, it changes. It changes the car balance quite a lot. Obviously, it makes it a little bit lazier on the high-speed corners, low-speed corners as well. I think it's a little bit easier to make mistakes and to have off or just not nailing the corners. So yeah, I think it's adding a little bit more of difficulty, but at the same time, it's a lot of fun. Like you need to regen and deploy in numerous times per lap, and hopefully that plays into a role on overtaking during the race.
Yeah, I agree with Alex. I think I think the fun thing is now, and that we've been used to the last year or so, has been, you know, deploying and doing different strategies and how you use the battery and then regen that battery and how that affects your car balance and trying to figure out what works for you, because not every driver is the same, but you know there's a quick way of doing it. But yeah, I've really enjoyed studying that and understanding that. And Barber has been pretty, it's been technical. It's technical already, and then adding that, it's been tough.
Soon enough, the weather cleared up, the sun rose again, and it was Sunday, it was race day. But before the big boys took on Barber, the Indy Next Series was in action for the second time this season. And while he didn't win the race, 17-year-old Evagoras Papasavvas stole the show for HMD Motorsports, scoring a P2 on debut.
Throughout this whole weekend, you said you only had 1 hour of testing beforehand. You had to deal with mixed conditions yesterday, and you started third and now finished second today. So how do you adjust to the Indy Next car so quickly?
I think, you know, the biggest thing with this car and just going up the ranks through open wheel racing is just being able to trust that the car will stick, being able to trust the downforce. I think that's the biggest thing, especially at a track like this where the downforce levels are so high and the cornering speeds are so high. That's the biggest thing, is to just send it really and just trust that the car is going to stick. And, you know, use all of my techniques that I've learned all through driving cars with lower downforce where the mechanical grip's more important. I think that really helped out a lot. But yeah, just being able to trust that the car will stick and have that connection with the car is very important.
But as masterful as Papasavvas was, everyone was chasing the Andretti Global rookie from Norway, Dennis Hauger, who became the first Indy Next driver since Ed Jones in 2015 to win their first 2 career starts, as Hauger led all 35 laps at Barber en route to victory. But with all the success at road and street courses, will he be able to translate it to ovals?
You continue to prove that you can dominate the road courses, but how have you been able to kind of prepare for kind of the upcoming ovals throughout the summer stretch?
I mean, we had the test in Nashville, which was my first time on an oval ever. It was a very different experience, but really cool, really fun, and learned a lot in that day, and hopefully I think we're having one more test day on an oval. So just trying to, experience as much as I can, both like in terms of racing and qualifying simulations. And I think the team is trying to prepare all of the cars as well as they can, and the drivers for it. So do what we've been doing so far. I think it's worked out well. So looking forward to see how we go once we get on a race weekend.
But soon enough, it was main event time. Race 4 of the NTT INDYCAR Series season at Barber Motorsports Park, and it went green again. Many of the same challengers from the first 3 races were back in the mix again, including outside pole sitter Scott McLaughlin, who had a strong run but couldn't do better than third.
Yeah, I think we were just third place today. Like, we just didn't quite have the pace, from the get-go, really. From lap 2, I tried to push sort of Alex, and then he just had a lot of speed. And I just didn't feel like I had much grip. But, the car was still okay, still pretty fast, but just wasn't as quick as the front guys, so front 2. But, hey, we're it's good points. We've got to just keep keeping on and being at the front as much as we can. And that was a solid race from us for the pace that we had. So if you want to build a championship campaign, that's how you got to do it.
Someone who had a fantastic run was the runner-up finisher Christian Lundgaard, who has been the banner driver for Arrow McLaren so far this season and made some impressive moves throughout the race. What has clicked for Lundgaard specifically at McLaren, and how has he been able to have this much success to start the year?
You said earlier that kind of the biggest change in your performance this season has been the team change, but kind of what behind the scenes has really allowed you to step up your game this year?
I think ultimately not a lot is really different from my own approach. I would say it's keeping things very simple and just focus on what you can control and master the basics, really. I think that the car is purely faster than what I've been doing for the past 3 years, and I think we've seen that just purely from the results across the last 3 years. But no, it's just good and nice to see it come into reality and really just executing when we have the pace. And I think we've done so. I think we got more out of Long Beach than I think we anticipated waking up Sunday morning. So, and at the end of the day, that's how you fight for championships.
But nobody, not even Lundgaard, was stopping the 3-time champion Alex Palou, who picked up his 3rd win in 4 races for Chip Ganassi Racing this season and took his 2nd career victory at Barber Motorsports Park. It's unbelievable for Palou, who just 5 years ago was still looking for that first win and first title in INDYCAR.
Jeffrey Hrunka, Motorsports Today. In 2021, you claimed your first ever victory here. Since then, you have 14 career wins, 3 championships, and has led near 1,000th lap. If you were gonna go back and tell yourself in 2021 all you would have accomplished over such a short time, would you have believed it back then?
No, absolutely not. No. I think it's I'm really lucky to be, as I said, in this position, to have a great team around that allows me to fight for wins every single weekend and for championships. So yeah, absolutely not. I would have said you were crazy.
Hey guys, Jeffrey Hrunka, Motorsports Today, and day 3 has wrapped up. Dennis Hauger and Alex Palou continue their dominant success in each series by leading all laps. Alex Palou led all but 9 due to the pit cycles. But they stay at the top of their standings in each respective series, and I just cannot say enough how good Palou is. Won 3 out of the first 4 races. The only race he didn't win, finished runner-up. So can anyone stop Palou? It seems like with this hybrid system, that is not the case. He's able to bring it home in first. Christian Lundgaard gets his 3rd podium in 4 races, and Scott McLaughlin holds off a charging Rinus VeeKay at the end of that race. Was VeeKay finishing 4th in a Dale Coyne racing machine. The first time Dale Coyne has gone a top 10 and even a top 5 in the last 2 years. I appreciate you following me along for this race weekend, but stay tuned next week where Colin Ward and my colleagues Tim Moore will head to Kansas Speedway in what should be an exciting one to see if Chris Buescher and Kyle Larson can repeat a photo finish once again. Well, you have to stay with us. This has been Jeffrey Hrunka in Birmingham, Alabama on site, and I'll see you next time.